Imagine joining a raid group to practice the last part of the fight, but you never even get there. Sound familiar? What if I told you not everyone in the party has even made it that far before? And what if I told you it wasn't by accident? They're here, in this group, fully aware they shouldn't be. What makes a player join raid parties that are tackling mechanics or phases far beyond their current experience? Isn't this choice counterproductive? Overconfidence often takes root after watching detailed guides and memorizing strategies for a fight. Players may feel prepared, confident that they can handle more than they actually can. While some can translate strategies seamlessly into gameplay, many cannot. Yet, regardless of skill, joining a more advanced party means reaching their own point of progression more often, accelerating practice and familiarity with that phase. Picture a raid group that has already cleared the encounter. In this scenario, success or failure often hinges solely on you. The seasoned members are far less likely to make critical mistakes compared to the players at your same progression level. This creates a tempting shortcut: rapid personal improvement at the party's expense. But what if you're not the only one taking advantage of this? What happens when multiple players join with the same hidden motive? To explore this, let's visualize the potential scenarios with a simple table. When a player is truthful, they have two outcomes: progressing smoothly if the rest of the party is also honest, or wasting time on earlier phases if others are prog lying. On the other hand, a prog liar benefits regardless of the party state. If the party members are also lying, the group collectively advances at a pace that matches their true skill level, even if it's not the phase advertised. A kind of silent, mutual understanding. Remember this for later. But if the party is truthful, the prog liar moves forward quickly at everyone else's expense. As the table shows, being truthful has mixed results, but prog lying consistently benefits the individual. This explains why prog liars are so prevalent in Final Fantasy XIV. Players don't need to consciously understand this. They only need to experience a few parties where they were honest and others were not. From there, they learn that if they want to make progress, they too should consider bending the truth. This concept comes from the science of game theory and is known as prisoner's dilemma. The conclusion: everyone should prog lie. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video. Thankfully, it's not that simple. Ask yourself, what happens if you repeatedly lie about your progress and impede the party's success for your own gain in a relatively small raiding community? To answer this question, we have to look at the iterated prisoner's dilemma. In it, there isn't just one round of defecting or cooperating, but multiple rounds. This means that actions have consequences and that behavior of participants changes over time. In this game, either player can choose to cooperate or defect, and depending on the other's choice, points are assigned. If both players cooperate, they each gain 3 points. If both defect, they get 1 point each. Should only one defect and the other cooperate, the defecting player gets 5 points and the cooperating player gets 0. This mirrors the previous situation, where if there was just one round, the smart decision would be to defect, as you either get 5 or 1 point, while cooperating only gives you 3 or 0. Let's analyze why always defecting doesn't work. If you always defect, the other player will eventually stop cooperating, and over a large number of rounds you will only get 1 point per round. Players that always cooperate will get 3 times as much instead. That isn't the correct strategy either, since always cooperating will make you vulnerable to those defecting occasionally. The first order strategy that won against all other early strategies was tit for tat. It is extremely simple. Cooperate in the first round, then mirror whatever your opponent did in the last round. The reason this strategy works well is because it rewards cooperation and discourages defection. However, tit for tat has one flaw: random or accidental defections, a common occurrence in a real-life scenario. Tit for tat retaliates, and if the other player uses a similar strategy, will retaliate in return. This cycle continues and results in lower points for both. To break this cycle, we need to modify the strategy a little. Instead of always retaliating, a forgiving tit for tat will sometimes cooperate even if the other player defected. With this change, the cycle will be broken and both sides can benefit from mutual cooperation again. While you could categorize this as optimization for the game, in the real world where misunderstandings and errors happen frequently, it is a crucial tweak. Speaking about the real world, try to transfer this theory to it. Someone always cooperating will be walked over like a doormat by more selfish people. Someone overly aggressive will find themselves without anyone that trusts them. If you approach situations with a cooperative and friendly mindset at first, but punish bad behavior immediately, you will draw other cooperative people towards you and push away bad actors. Now you just need to be forgiving enough to make sure a cooperative person that made an error or you misunderstanding their actions won't immediately cost you your relationship. Let's translate this to Final Fantasy XIV. Be truthful about your progression. If others lie, call them out or kick them if you're the party leader. However, don't hold grudges. Be forgiving. Don't blacklist someone permanently. If they lied, make a note, but after some time, give them another chance. Remember earlier when I said there can be this unspoken mutual understanding when everyone is prog lying? If this is the case, as we saw with the Omega protocol during patches 6.4 and 6.5, you can get completely stuck by being honest. Party for Phase 5 start is simply a party for cleaning up Phase 3, and everyone knows it. When this happens, try to stay as true to your point of progress as possible and shift which parties you join slowly until they fit your progress. Use FFLogs and Tombstone. These websites allow you insight in the progress of other players without them wasting your time. Still apply the same principles from earlier. Give them the benefit of the doubt. If they claimed they prepared and practiced, believe them. If it turns out they lied, retaliate, but do not hold a grudge against them. There will always be people using others for personal gain. The more do it, the worse the situation gets until eventually party descriptions become meaningless and everyone suffers the consequences. The only way out of this vicious cycle is to not participate in it and lead by example. One question remains. How do you identify someone who is lying about their progress? The most immediate sign is that they will likely struggle with earlier mechanics and appear lost during the mechanic your party is working on, if you manage to reach it. However, it's important to note that many players learning to fight will exhibit similar behavior, so this alone is not the most reliable indicator. The safest method to confirm a player's experience is by checking their data on sites like FFLogs and Tombstone. These tools can potentially reveal exactly how far a player has progressed in a fight. However, these sources are not foolproof as they rely on recorded runs. Players can also hide their logs or activity on these sites, limiting their effectiveness. Ironically, the act of hiding logs in Tombstone can be one of the clearest indicators of a prog liar. If a player struggles with mechanics, appears disoriented, and has concealed their logs and activity, it's a significant red flag. Another potential indicator is their attitude. Most honest players will own up to their mistakes during a practice party and, if asked whether they know a mechanic, will respond with a simple yes or an explanation that they made an error. On the other hand, prog liars often display an inflated ego and poor attitude. They may react defensively or even aggressively when questioned about their experience. Let me give you an example. There was a Dark Knight who joined a party for top. I was in this party to help two players clear the fight. The party was specifically aimed at duty completion. The player had both their FFLogs page and Tombstone hidden. They were doing fine until the last phase, where their lack of preparation became evident. They threw their entire mitigation on the first Cosmo dive. There are 4 tank busters in top phase 6, 2 Cosmo dives and 2 wave cannons. The Cosmo dives are far less threatening, so this made no sense. They then proceeded to use their invuln on the first wave cannon. With a warrior as coating, this is clearly wrong, as in any tank configuration with a warrior, the warrior will always invuln the first wave cannon. Tanks are supposed to invuln 1 wave cannon each to free up their short mitigation for their co-tank. This Dark Knight went through the effort of hiding their FFLogs and Tombstone, but not through the effort of memorizing their mitigation properly. Meaning they spent more effort into deceiving others and abusing them for personal gain than learning the fight. Due to the severity of this case and the fact that they were a repeat offender, I decided to give them a permanent stay on my blacklist. This example underscores the importance of judging the severity of a prog liar's actions. Someone joining a savage party 1 mechanic ahead and being a little worse than the average player in the party is probably not worth a major response. Someone with a selfish attitude, deceiving, lying, and sabotaging the clear of players in a 19-minute fight, repeatedly, that's worthy of a permanent spot on the blacklist. Through the lens of Prisoner's Dilemma, they are an aggressive defector, so do not let them take advantage of your cooperative attitude. That's the only way they might choose to change their own attitude. If you see a video of mine in your recommendations, click it, leave the tab open, watch it later or don't, but that's something you can do for me if you like my videos, other than your typical like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Menari out.